Hi everyone, welcome to Mindful Adventures. So the first question for today is, how can I determine the best path to follow in my life? Again, how can I determine the best path to follow in my life? I don't know. Can you determine anything? How can you determine? Take this question back into self-inquiry and ask, is there anything that I have ever determined to be the best that was everlasting? A few things to point out about the question. The question was, how can I determine the best path to follow in my life? You want to determine the best path, not the path. You have an idea of comparison. You're comparing, you already have an idea, you've determined what the best looks like. So then why would you ask the question, how can I determine the best path to follow in my life if you're carrying an idea of comparison? So if you're comparing, you have an idea of what the best means, or an idea of what the best looks like, then whether I share a method, how means method, or I give you a path, that which you think is best will blind you from that which is. And you want to follow, don't be a follower. That is the best path. But you use the word determine. You want to determine, which has a sense of leadership and control, and in that same question, there's follow. The leader is the follower, and the follower is the leader. So just be. Oh, this is a good book, by the way. 101 Zen Koans. Short stories for daily Zen. When Banzan was walking through a market, he overheard a conversation between a butcher and his customer. "Give me the best piece of meat you have," said the customer. "Everything in my shop is the best," replied the butcher. "You cannot find here any piece of meat that is not the best." And at these words, Banzan became enlightened. The second question, what is the highest value? Oh, values. Again, the question is, what is the highest value? I don't know. But I will share what is of high value. Silence. Silence is of high value. Have you ever been irritated when someone is talking too much? It happens that maybe we get this slight irritation when people talk too much. Those who talk too much from thinking that they know. And if you think that you know, it could be that it drives you to talk too much. Most think that they know. But what they don't know is that they are not thinking. There is no thinker. Silence is of high value. Meditation, your being, is of high value. And of course, moments may arise where you're compelled to speak. That's okay too. Just make sure you tell the truth to yourself before you speak. Okay, the next question. How to respond when hearing bad news about a friend. I just heard that my friend has cancer. How to respond. I know this is very difficult. The emotions that may come up when you hear bad news. But how do you know that it is bad news? How do you know? Do you know that it is bad news based on intuition? Do you know that it is bad news due to your knowledge of good and bad? How do you know it is bad news? The news. If sadness arises in you, feel what you feel. And respond according to the moment. Oftentimes, we run into opportunities for misunderstanding. Assuming that a response has to appear a certain way. For example, talking about love rather than being love. Showing love could be a response as long as it is not a show. Talking about God rather than just being still. Talking about opinions or giving advices to friends. Rather than demonstrating the advice, the proper response can be demonstrated rather than spoken. Demonstrate love, understanding, Allow your friend to feel what he or she feels. Allow the self to feel whatever is arising. And in that moment, the response will arise. How to respond? Like, what's the best way to respond? Be silent first, and from there the response will arise naturally. If you already have an idea of how to respond, then when the moment arises again to respond, you won't be responding. You'll just be something else. The body may have the cancer, but he or she is not the cancer. Acceptance, release, compassion, can be healing. Although the healing is not in your hands, demonstrate. Be. May all be wholeness. Namaste.